The bat swinging, the ball's flying through the air, stumps crashing, it's a cricket affair. Get ready to groove, time to make some noise. Cricket podcast, we're here to fill the void. In the stadium, the crowd's going wild, the energy's high just like a child. We're here to bring you all the latest cricket news with electronic beats. We'll show you the news.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Legends and Lads Cricket Podcast, formerly known as the Atomic Cricket Podcast. I am Chirurandan Srinath, your host for this week. Joining me are my two co-hosts, Rakesh Rao sir and Krishna Maitreya. So we have come to the last phase of IPL. It's the playoffs time, and already one team is eliminated, the Royal Challengers Bengaluru, and there are just three contenders left now. The Kolkata Knight Riders sitting atop in the finals. There is SRH and Rajasthan Royals battling in the qualifier too. So Rakesh sir, let me come to you first.
Yeah.
So, what impression has this playoffs made to you in the sense whom do you see as the other finalists other than KKR?
See, first of all, we've just had two matches and two to go. Well, so far, both matches have been quite one sided, if you ask me. The two teams which were expected to win won those matches. And it's like one beating two and three beating four. Not just that, I think in terms of performance, also, if you compare what KKR has been doing as compared to SRH, KKR has appeared to be a more balanced and a well oiled unit. Whereas RR, in spite of that streak where they couldn't win of even one out of the last five, of course, one couldn't take off, but overall, that kind of a bleep in between. But the time, if you just compare it to RCB, RCB is a pretty switch on, switch off sort of a side. Where you don't really expect it to click, quite consistently. So that is where they lack what we require in a team when you reach the playoff is the cutting edge. And I think RCB, of course, they beat CSK on the big day, all right. But thereafter, I think they just reached their peak. They just thought that okay, now we have nothing more to do. Our goal was to just reach the last four stage, and I think that is where I think I saw that lack of commitment against like RR the other day. This was not the RCB which we all know, and that happens so often. Even with human beings, it's the same. And of course, this is a team, so what happens is that once you set your goal on something, the moment you achieve it, there is a high. Now it takes some kind of commitment, some kind of tapering off of your emotions for you to refocus and get your hold back on yourself. So maybe they went into a celebratory mode and then to bring the boys down and say, okay, guys, now we are facing a knockout game. We have won, say, six knockout games. Now this is the seventh one for us. Let's just continue with it. And I think somehow that didn't click because I think again for me the toss was crucial. And if you don't put big runs against RR, then you are in trouble. And that was the difference. Otherwise, for me, the other team you asked me, the other team, well, between SRH and this thing, see, it's quite similar for Rajasthan Royals because they are facing a team which is RCB with a different name. They're playing SRH next, but SRH is much like RCB. It's a top-heavy unit where the attack is pretty ordinary. They rely on the top order, and their best chance is to put the runs on the board. And that is exactly what SRH is all about. So SRH is the kind of unit that can score any amount of runs batting first. But when you put them, in a chase, then they can be a little more vulnerable. Otherwise, when they bat first, they bat as though they own the surface, they own the field, they own the arena. But yes, the bowling is a major concern for me. I mean, even if they score 210, they are not sure at that midpoint break where whether they'll be able to even defend 210, 220 because their attack is so ordinary.
So Maitreya, the same question to you. Whom do you think is going to be the finalist, and what is your take on this playoff that is going on? What is your atmosphere in your home by like?
Yeah, so I feel as already KKR is there, and the eliminator between SRH and RR, I feel it will be a close one because both the teams are have been playing good the whole season, and yeah, some matches haven't gone their way. It's either they perform well or they don't perform at all. So it I feel it depends on that day how it goes on because we have seen SRH once they get a very good start, they have been taking on from there. And if they don't get that start, I feel that's where the confidence is lost and that's shifting the momentum of the game to the other team. So that's where they lack, I guess. And if everything goes on, I feel both the teams have a really good chance. But I feel RR is a more balanced team compared to SRH because uh, they have a good middle order, and even their bowlers, I feel, are more experienced compared to SRH because SRH has been, based more on the foreign players and the new youngsters like Nitish Kumar and the others. Because I feel even the Bhuvneshwar Kumar has come back, has been bowling well this season, the last few matches. But still, I feel RR has more edge over them because they have more better spinners, Ashwin, and they have the
Chahal.
other bowlers, the Chahal, the batsman Butler, and others. Samson has been performing well. Rian Barak this season has been phenomenal. So I feel they have a more complete team, a more better team compared to SRH. But in the end, the one who performs better that day is a winner. So I give it to RR, but let's see.
So all three on board are supporting RR. Let's root for RR, boys. So Rakesh
What do
sir,
you think, Chiru?
coming to you,
What's
you
your
know it
take?
very well, sir. RR, because my second favorite team is Rajasthan Royals. Royals here, Royals there, everywhere Royals. Just a simple reason because you have Trent Bolt, who's my favorite left-arm bowler. I look at him and the way he bowls personally because I'm a fast bowler, so I idolize him. And also the reason because you have UZ Chahal coming from Bangalore going to Rajasthan Royals few years back. So uh, yeah, Rakesh sir, you know it very well. I'm a very big RCB fan, so little bit positive about RCB in this show. We came so far. We fought very hard. When there was 1% chance, we won 6 out of 6 knockout matches, and we played incredible. I know the team wasn't strong. It looked like a lean attack. The bowling and their performers like Maxwell, they were even in yesterday's Maxwell got out for a duck. So even with that kind of team, the team had a character, and they came so far to the playoffs with 1% chance. I think they drained out all their energy and all their motivation when it came to yesterday's match. Uh, we as fans are definitely happy with playoffs. I think uh, the way they came here, the comeback, the turnaround, we are happy. What is your take, and what do you think that RCB did this year? What was the shift in the momentum, sir?
You're talking about the RCB, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See, for me, the shift in momentum was like, see, as I say, if you're drowned till you're, up to your neck, you don't feel cold anymore, right? They were in deep waters, yes, but then they decided, okay, now we are out of it. Now, for every see, after eight rounds, they lost seven, and that's when a good team becomes very dangerous. That is because now they have no fear of losing because they think they will go at everybody's throat. Let's see what happens. And I think that approach worked for them. Suddenly, they were playing for the fans. They were no longer playing for themselves, and I think that's a great space to be in. When you think that you belong to somebody, it's like the pressure is off you, and you have to deliver for them. So, that pressure, there is that shift in the way you think, the way you approach a challenge. And I think that's what happened with RCB. And it is just that they were lucky also, yes. But at the same time, I think I would give their resilience a lot more marks than just luck. We normally tend to use this luck factor a little more. At least I won't do that. You have to make your luck work, and these guys actually got their act together repeatedly, and for that the credit should go to the top, because they started batting better. In fact, even if one guy didn't click, there were others who came good. For example, Rajat started off so poorly, and then suddenly he hit like great form. When others were not doing well, you had a Dinesh Karthik who came and just delivered almost unnoticed. I mean, he was unnoticed. He would just come and hit those runs in quick time. His contribution in terms of runs didn't look big, but he didn't consume too many like deliveries. He rotated the strike very well. And he plays with a mind of his own. I have immense respect for his cricketing brain. I mean, he has his own set of shortcomings as a wicketkeeper batter, but I think overall he knows how to adapt to white ball cricket, and especially the needs of the IPL. So there I give him immense credit. And of course, the top order, as and when it came off well. For example, I think for me, Wills was absolutely fantastic. The way he batted, I think the guy with minimum of like his footwork. If you see, he normally stays in the crease and he delivers from there. I don't know how easily he could do that. I just watch this guy with minimum of footwork, and he could hit and hit a long way. So, and I think even when he started slowly, he could still stay put and he could score. So I think that helped him, because he came in at a time when Maxwell wasn't doing anything, and till the end he didn't do much. For example, it didn't really hurt them, but then their policy is very clear. You should have Max in the playing 11, because if he is there, he on his day he can pull you out from a position where you don't have a hope in hell. He is that sort of a guy. So the team decided, okay, let's invest in this one man. The day he comes off good, we are going to win that game. Simple. But then, of course, that didn't happen. But their other overseas recruits did the job. So, but of course, their attack was not up to the mark. I think they did have a few spinners, but overall, I think the quality was something that was lacking. But then, as long as their batters did well, the bowlers could be hidden at some point. But then, beyond a point, you couldn't really hide them. Like yesterday, we saw them 6 overs of power play, out of which one, two, and six. These overs, you didn't concede anything. Almost, you conceded what about? I think a total of what about under 10 runs in these 3 overs put together. But what did you do in between? 9 boundaries in the space of 17 deliveries. That's a crime. That means you are applying the pressure from one end, but the moment you bring in somebody like a Dayal in the first six, I don't think he's quality. He gets hit. He's much like Shardul Thakur, because he will never get wickets off a good ball. More often than not, when the moment the batter sees him, he says, "Oh, Dayal is there, or a Shardul is there, or even a Tushar Deshpande is there." These are bowlers who will give you wickets only because the batters are lowering their guard. When they say, "Okay, let's just go after them," that is when it's a 50-50 deal. Otherwise, their bowling will not get them wickets. If it is a 50 over game, trust me, these bowlers will be most ineffective. So these things are likely to happen. But having said that,
Uh,
RCB I still feel lacked in attack, but their batting was, of course, they have always relied on that. And one more year when they have returned without a trophy.
so Maitreya, let me come to you. I think obviously you enjoyed last match, right? So did Rajasthan Royals avenge for your CSK's loss? Because that was the heat debate going on in our friend circle and social media. So did you like the match? Did you enjoy it purely from a fan's point of
Yeah, I
perspective?
guess. Yeah, as a fan, I truly enjoyed yesterday's match because having lost, CSK and RCB's match is, bigger than anything. It's like in the IPL, it's considered like India versus Pakistan, that kind of a rivalry. So it is like the biggest match, and you're there to support your favorite team, and obviously. when your team loses, you feel sad. So till the last second ball, to say CSK RCB match, I was having some kind of a hope. Dhoni was there in the crease, and it could have been a magical finish. And then no, Dhoni went off. Okay, Jadeja is there. Last time he did 10 off 2 balls. Now again he can do it, but it just didn't happen. And really, I was dejected. For the next 2 3 days, I was still thinking CSK could have gone. They shouldn't have done this. They shouldn't have done that. That's all there on the mind. And it is not the first time, because it has happened. 2019 when CSK lost by 1 run. 2017 when that time Rising Pune Super Giants, they
Harpies.
lost by 1 run. So I have seen all that, but against RCB losing is again another thing, because a lot of banter among the friends. So there you get to lose the banter. So I was really dejected, but I always held the hope, because I knew RR is a much better team than RCB, because they had a more, even though they had not been winning continuously, like 6 matches, but I felt they're a more balanced team, because I feel in the heat of the moment they can handle pressure much better than RCB. So I was having that kind of a hope, and I guess I got to see that yesterday. And yesterday's match also, I feel RCB, after giving it away in second innings, if you see midway around 15 overs, it's like, yeah, it's done. But I feel they kind of dragged it till the end. It was kind of good, but I knew RR could have done it, and I'm happy that it happened. As a fan, I'm really happy, but little being empathetic, I feel RCB fans can wait for next year. There's always hope.
So Rakesh sir, I want to drag you into this childish talks that we had, kiddish talks that we have among ourselves. What a friend circle we had on social media, Instagram or whatever. We had a blast there because once we lost, there were a lot of trolls, each and everyone putting on the status, and then we replying back to them. What points that I made is, so what if you have 5 trophies? Even if you have 5 trophies, you have to play this season, you have to play the next season. So every year is a new year, every season is a new season.
Yeah, see, for me, the RCB CSK clash, of course, it is one of the most watched uh, clashes. And this time, I saw that on the social media platform, which is not exactly social media. I'm sorry, what is not a broadcaster's medium, which is more of a digital, like platform. At one point, I mean, towards that was a time when MSD and Jadeja were there, and it still looked even. That time, that particular time, on the digital platform, 43.6 lakh viewers were watching. Forget about those who are watching on television on Star Sports. This is only
Yeah,
on Geo.
Geo
On
Cinema.
one platform, so many people were watching, and that for me was some sort of a record, because I don't think even these many people were actually watching any of these games, any of these big games, involving, say, Mumbai Indians versus RCB, or Mumbai Indians versus KKR. Not a single game came anywhere close to this. That day, it was like the match of this year's IPL. And of course, the stakes were high. And that day again, for those who thought that RCB won, right, quite convincingly towards the end, but I still feel that 1 6 of like MSK, an intended six, so to speak, after the first six. The second one which he attempted, only if that had to cross the, if that had managed to beat the fielder, it would have been all over, because then that match was CSK's to lose, because CSK would have won it from there very easily. But then that didn't quite happen, because we can always say ifs and buts. But the the thing was, it was so close. More than the eventual difference between the two teams, I think it was just a difference of that one hit eventually. Because once you have people like Jadeja and MSD together, then you
Yeah.
cannot be too sure. I mean, no matter how you are a diehard fan of one team, but then once you look at these two guys in the opposition, you say, "Boss, just wait. We have to get them out." So I think that Dhoni's wicket made the difference towards the end, because by that time I think CSK started believing that they could win the match. So that's how close it was. So I don't know what was happening on the social media thing, because when you are battling as fans, I think you only see what you want to see. It's very difficult to be objective, and that is fair, because fans are not expected to be passionate. I mean, they are only expected to be passionate about their team and just back their team no matter what, and stay optimistic till the end, instead of looking at reasons and being rational. That's not what you expect from a fan. But yes, I could imagine that internet would have, it would have been, I think, bombarded with messages and posts from both sides. But I think it was a good match, because it was an intense match. And yes, for me that was like, when you look at sport, you need such matches. Two teams where I think the both were battling for the fourth spot. This was not a place for the final, or this was not
Hmm.
something that we were looking at where you would say that that these guys are battling for the ultimate prize. They were going to just qualify for the playoff, but look at the intensity. So that's what I like. That's what I think sport teaches you, and this was a huge advertisement for IPL.
Right. So Matra, it'll be right to ask you this question. So, is this season MSD's last season, and does your support for CSK alter if MSD leaves? Has decided to draw curtains on his IPL career, and obviously it'll be a no. But uh, do you think it'll be MSD's last season?
See, the way he has retired from international cricket, I expect him to make that announcement anytime from now to the next 6 months. You never know. But then I was surprised last year when he did not announce his retirement. So with MSD, I don't want to even take a wild guess. I feel that this guy is capable of anything. At the same time, I won't be surprised if he says no. I want to have another crack at it. You never know with MSD.
Yes.
So, but then yes, this time it was very clear, as Stephen Fleming made it very clear, that this guy didn't have it in him, or he didn't have enough in the in the tank, to come up the order. He would come for the last 2 overs or whatever, and then he would hit those runs in quick time. Yeah, and he remained unbeaten most of the time. But I still feel that at least one judgment of his, which I'll never ever agree with him, was sending Darrell Mitchell back when he.
Uh,
This was one of the games where there were actually 2 runs there, to be very honest,
yes.
because MSD is one of the finest runners between the wickets. And if Darrell Mitchell could go and come back from the striker's end, so those runs should have been taken. I mean, you are dealing with an international cricketer who is your teammate, and that was something that I didn't expect from MSD. But of course, then MSD is beyond a lot of things. So, having said that, but then coming back to your question, whether he's going to announce his retirement, I wouldn't like to hazard a guess now, because DK has been gracious enough to tell the world that okay, he's he has played the last ball in IPL and now he's out of it, because he sees an alternate career for him. And he sounds very good from the com box also. So I think he's pretty clear about what he's doing. Now, since we're talking about MSD and PK, not many people even like bother to think that DK made his debut before MSD, and
Uh,
MSD's career began and ended with DK still around. So, but the point is that that way I would rate DK a little unfortunate, but then I
mm,
think he has left on a high because he has batted well. He ensured that the team is there in the last four. That is what the fans have been praying right through after the eighth game, and I think he played his part. So for him personally, he has left it on a high. But about MSD, we'll have to still wait and watch.
right. So I want to make a point here, sir, that if once
Yeah,
there are discussions if impact player rule might not be there next year. If it happens, then it'll be really tough for
yeah.
MSD to maintain his fitness and all that. But Maitreya, because you're a CSK fan, how do you see CSK without Dhoni?
So I somehow feel Dhoni might play next year because he has not got that kind of farewell in the international cricket, and I really personally feel every MSD fan would be hoping for at least this kind of a favor in IPL, and obviously the RCB CSK match wasn't any of a farewell kind of a match for him. So I feel at least one match for a farewell would be nice next season. But as some statements have come from some unknown sources, some people keep saying from tweets I've read somewhere, they say that like the next 2 3 months he's going to take a call, based on his health and his fitness. So don't know, always MSG is tough to comprehend, but hoping as a fan, all of us would like to see him one more time, one more season at least.
Yeah.
And
So,
without MSD, that's a really tough question because uh, there are many people, many favorites across franchises, different people I like players, but MSD tops all of them, so that's why I support CSK. But being a person from Andhra Pradesh, Telugu, so I would like to support maybe SRH or,
oh, so
but in
you
CSK
alter.
still, I still like Jadeja. Yeah, maybe SRX, because of the link to the land and the language, all that. But still,
Interesting.
I would be somehow biased to CSK because of players like Jadeja and all who have been there, from the start. But after this set of generation, the new generation of players come in, maybe at least under 5 to 10 years, maybe I'll be supporting CSK. But after that, when new players come in, it will be tough to say because again that point of time, I don't know whom I'll be supporting. Depends on the players. So right now, I feel even after MSG is gone, if he stays connected to the franchise, as a mentor or something, I'll always be supporting CSK. Like many people from the older days will be supporting Mumbai Indians because Sachin is there as a mentor. So somewhat similar kind of a thing I'll be doing. But let's see.
Yeah, so RCB fans are more loyal than this. Okay, just kidding. Rakesh sir, coming to you, talking about qualifier one that we witnessed. KKR beat SRH by 8 wickets, and Mitchell Stark, who had a horrible season. I mean,
Yes.
even though he was bought expensive in the auction. He had a horrible season, but he was a spearhead for the
Yeah.
Knights as he took 3 wickets. He's a big match player, uh, and we know what he does for Australia. And he's getting back into the rhythm just before the T20 World Cup. And these Aussies are really scary because they underperform in the IPL, and when these ICC tournaments come, they always go beyond their expectations, go beyond their the way they play in domestic cricket.
Yeah, see, in my view, Australia is one side which will go into a ICC tournament looking pretty ordinary. I mean, they don't give you this impression that they're going to kill everybody. No, they don't. If they start slowly, they're beatable at the start. They look very, very beatable. But you get into the kind of the knockout sort of like matches, you can't touch them. They suddenly shift gears and they become something else. So that is what I fear. If you want to beat Australia, beat them early. Once they get into their like rhythm, everyone will be showing forms. You will have at least 5 to 6 people emerging or at least appearing as sure shot match winners. If A doesn't get you, I mean, if A or B, if they don't get you, C will get you. Trust me. If you can get A and B out, C or D together will be associated in a stand that could be crucial for the outcome of the game. So what I'm trying to say is they have people who put their hand up and say, okay, if A hasn't done it, B hasn't done it, C hasn't done it, you'll find somebody or the other whom you almost underestimate because he hasn't performed well in the previous games. So with Australia, don't make that mistake. You are very right. The guys are peaking at the right time. And Travis Head, despite his two, like, I mean, especially the last two innings where he looked up and he didn't even get an opportunity to do what he is capable of doing. Um, but then if he again comes back with a vengeance, I mean, he has every reason to be spirited. He has every reason to get back and prove that, look, I couldn't do so much in the last two games, but here I am. I have another opportunity, and that's what makes such people so dangerous. So Australia as a unit, yes, a lot of people have done well in parts, but if you look at Cummins, if you look at Stark, they haven't quite performed up to the expectations which people have of them, but it doesn't hurt them because they have done well for the team. Both the teams are in the top three, so with a lot of Aussies in there, they have done well. So yes, Australia as a unit for the World Cup, they look as dangerous as they are, and this is what you expect them to be, because once we get in there at that level, we will have to raise the bar to meet theirs. So expect them to really come hard at us over there as a unit. But any team that beats them early enough should go back happy. But once if they get into the I mean what we call as the business end of the tournament, then they are very dangerous.
Yeah. Coming back to you, Maitreya. Talking about the Rajasthan Royals, good to see Ashwin coming back into form as well. He plays a crucial role in the qualifier to be alongside with Chahal, especially because he's playing in Chepauk and he's from Tamil Nadu. He has played a lot of cricket in Chepauk. And so conventionally in Chepauk, you need those spinners to do well in the middle overs. That's what Chennai Super Kings always do, always do. So how important is Ashwin in the qualifier too, Maitreya?
Yeah, I feel Ashwin is going to play a big role because his childhood has been based in Chennai, and he has played a lot of matches, not just right from CSK, but right from his childhood. Ranji Trophy matches or this club matches, Tamil Nadu Premier League, anything. So he has played a lot of cricket in Chepauk, and he's also the highest wicket taker in Chepauk. If you see in the IPL, he has I think 52 or 53 wickets. So even though he has not played for Chennai the last after 2017, from 2017 has not played for Chennai, but still he remains the highest wicket taker in Chepauk. So I feel that has something to say about his abilities. What he can do in that ground and how well acquainted he is with the place. And I feel his experience. Not only as a person, acquainted with the Chepauk, but as a player who has played a lot of cricket across formats for I think 10 years. So I feel all that experience will help him because he has played in situations where you need like the 2013 Champions Trophy. He was the one who bowled the last over. So he has been playing those situations, pressure situations, and he has actually performed very well in many of them. So uh, I feel that way his experience will also add to Aldi's very good relation with the Chapok pitch. And as a spinner, I feel he gives the exact he's the exact bowler that RR will be looking for, in the middle overs, and he can also guide Chahal in some way, showing the experience there, and both of them will make a good duo for RR, and I feel that's how Ashwin is really helpful.
Right. I'll come to the last question for this episode. Rakesh, it's for you. So as KKR, actually speaking about KKR, they've been a standout team in this season because the all-round performance that they show, whether it's the batting or the bowling, and I think it is because of one man there, and it becomes very easy to qualify for the finals when they have someone like Gautam Gambhir who has been part of the team prior to 2014 until 2014, sorry. And as a captain in 2014, I remember Gautam Gambhir making Sunil Narayan open along with him, and after that we saw a dip in Narayan's batting stats, and as a mentor he joined back, and now he's again motivating, and we have seen Sunil Narayan batting well. I think that personally it is because of Gautam Gambhir that the atmosphere in KKR has been so good, and they have qualified for the finals for the fourth time, and it was under him that they won two cups, and maybe as a mentor another one. So
Yeah, KKR's, I mean, KKR owes a lot to him, no question about it. I mean, his presence there, because he is a no nonsense guy. I mean, and he is a tough guy. Because what he does is that unless you make him happy, he won't show that he's happy, because he's not there to make you happy. He will be very stern with people, and he calls a spade. So when you have such a guy in your like dugout, things are bound to happen. Now this can also have a reverse effect, because that can also keep the guys under constant pressure. If they're not able to release it, then they are in deep trouble. So that's what happens. This is a double-edged sword. When you have a guy like him there, if you respect what he says, it is all fine. But if you see it as a disrespect of your pride and your own like esteem, then it's a serious problem. Because if that team has players with ego, people who think that they have done something in the field of cricket, and if a certain Gautam Gambhir is not giving them their due, then it can get worse. But the point is, it just depends how well he has treated them. And I think with Shah Rukh Khan around, because he takes a lot of interest, I'm aware of the kind of equation that Shah Rukh shares with like Gigi. So a lot of it has to be given to the owners as well. That they thought it fit that okay, let's get Gotham back. And yeah, Gotham's influence cannot be understated at any point. But I'll go beyond that. What he has done is, and what the coaches have also contributed in one sense. But I think that team has it in it to actually outperform a lot of teams. I'll tell you why. Their batters can, the bowlers can bat and the batters can bowl. So
Yeah.
they're not necessarily all rounders, but what they do is say if you have people like a Venkatesh. Now Venkatesh came up as an all-rounder, but you hardly see him do anything. He only bats. When he bowls, you don't, I mean, people don't consider him as a serious guy around, but he does the job. Sunil is primarily a spinner who is being made to look like a top order guy, because he comes and decimates the attack. He just doesn't stand there and then he tries to dig his feet, and no, he doesn't do that. He just goes after you. So the kind of x factors that you have in this team, where you have the guys batting deep, you have bowlers with variety. In the middle overs, you have spinners coming in. You have a Chakravarti, you have a like Narayan, and they also have variety in when it comes to like bowling. They have more than 5 bowling options, something which RR doesn't have. RR has a long tail. RR will go with 5 specialist bowlers, almost specialist bowlers. Whereas if you look at the composition of KKR has a Russell who is much like Narayan, who'll bowl, and when he bats, he will just, you know, he can go after any kind of attack on his day. So you need people like, like Russell down the order, who can come and he can create, mayhem out there. Then you have steady heads like Shreyas and Venkatesh. They're not necessarily sloggers, but they're very good and very, very calculated, like assaulters. The way they do it, they will also go after you. They'll also hurt you. But it doesn't appear as though they're hurting you. So they have a lot of depth and they have variety, both when it comes to, like bowling, especially. Of course, I've already said that. They have fast bowlers, they have good quality spinners, and they also contribute with the bat. And if you look at those who are primarily those guys who will go out and like bat, you can throw the ball at them and they will also, they can also be effective with the ball. So that kind of luxury, very few teams have. And that is why KKR is where KKR is.
Right. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to this episode. We'll be back next episode within a week. Please do follow Legends and Lads Cricket Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this podcast on. Thank you, Rakesh sir, for joining us. Thank you, Maitreya, for joining us. And bye bye.
Thank you so much, Chiru.